Hello, everybody. And so tonight I'm going to paint this New Orleans style shotgun house. This is all made out of MDF. I've cut it here. I'm working out some kinks on my design, but it's 3 layers. So it's the background piece, which is this piece. Then we've got the windows, and then we've got the lattice work, the wood lattice work, and the front piece. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I went ahead and glued as many pieces as I could together without messing up the education part of this. I also have this little piece that I think I'm going to put it either right there or maybe even like that. I haven't quite figured this out. May not even use it. But anyway, I have that little piece also. So I went ahead and glued, and this is the little knoll posty things, and they sit right here. And you see how you have to raise them up a couple levels so that it can sit in the very front, because this is the foremost piece that you'll see. I've also just designed one that's 2 story, so we'll see how that comes out. But right now, this is going to be the one that I'm doing. And these, it could be a door hanger. It's going to be a real fancy, elegant door hanger if you make it a door hanger. So I'm making this just as a piece of art that we could put a backer on it and an easel, or a just mount it to a thick piece of wood so you could just stand it up on your mantle or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece off. These two come together. I actually accidentally cut these apart, so I had to glue them together, as you can see, and then I glued some risers to these pieces so it would sit up higher. So this piece is this piece is white, and I've already primed it white, so this white will stay, and then I'll paint this top piece in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside so we can look at this. And so now this is MDF, and I cut it on my laser. So when I was taking the masking off, I did make a couple little bobos here and there. But to be honest with you, I think it might just add to the character, because this is not supposed to be a brand new construction. So it's going to come like this. So you could just paint these in if you didn't want to have these pieces to lay on, but I thought this would be kind of cool. So I'm going to see how this looks. Got a little bit of paint peeling up right there. And I'm just going to leave it because I'm gluing on top of that anyway. And then I have this little piece that's going to be at the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So my house is going to be pink with blue, I don't know what you call these, window frames. And by itself, it kind of looks like a British post, telephone box or whatever. But anyway, so this will be pink, and then the frame of the windows and all the accents are going to be baby blue. So here are the colors that I've chosen: this pink and this blue. The blue is actually folk art textured chalk paint called Poolside. Love this color. Use it a lot at the studio. And then the pink is, now usually, like I've said before, I usually use folk art paint or anything by Plaid. But this is the color I had sitting here. And it's Fuchsia by Apple Barrel. And I just like this bright color. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And this is not going to be more than an hour. If it runs over, I will just take pictures and show you what it looks like. So we get started with this pink color. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm sorry for the beeping. So this is going to be like that New Orleans style shotgun house. And it doesn't really matter if you paint over this a little bit. I don't really want to paint inside there because I think I'm going to paint that a blue and kind of make it look like louvers. You know how you have those louvers? And I will probably have to do 2 coats of this pink, but this sure is a happy pink color, isn't it? So shotgun houses are really popular in New Orleans. I mean, you just kind of see a picture of one and it just makes you think of New Orleans. There's shotgun houses all over the place. My house is technically a shotgun house because the whole theory is that you can shoot a gun straight through the house. That's kind of why it was called shotgun. But let me read a little facts about shotgun houses. Shotgun house is a narrow rectangular domestic residence, usually no more than about 12 feet wide, with the rooms arranged one behind the other and doors at each end of the house. It's the most popular style of house within the southern United States from the end of the Civil War through the 1920s. A little bit longer than that. My house was built in 54, and it is a shotgun house. It's a little wider than 12 feet, though, but there is a door at the back and a door at the front. And we've been looking at a lot of those little tiny homes, and those technically are shotgun houses because they are not more than generally not more than 12 feet wide. So I guess those would technically, but they don't have a door at the front and a door at the back. They just have a door at the front or the side. And this is such a pretty pink. I don't know if you can really see it as vibrant as it is. I moved to a different room because this room's much brighter than where I had been doing it. So hello, everybody. And so the nice thing with doing these on wood, and you're doing it in layers, is that you can easily scoot this one piece aside while it's drying to paint the second piece. I'll do a skinny little piece underneath here because technically this little space right here, which is the floor of the porch, that is going to be the same color blue. So this pink will also be this is the steps, these 2 little lines there, if you can see that very good. Let me give you a raised up shot of this. There we go. So that's it. That's you see the little lines down there? That's to indicate the steps. And so we're just going to give a suggestion of those steps. But in the 2-story one I've been working on, the design, I actually have more of the steps. They're going to be raised also. Pieces of wood will glue in. And so we'll have those steps and the little porch rail, which will be really, really cute. Squirting out a little bit more of this paint. So you see these always in really vibrant, vibrant colors. And so I thought pink and blue would be really nice. And I was looking for a really nice light blue. And that's the only reason I'm using the Coastal and this textured paint is really just because the color was the best color I had. I couldn't find a good light blue. And yes, I know I can mix light blue, but for the sake of this, I wanted to just be able to tell you what color blue I used. And so I just thought I'd use that. Plus, I do like that little bit of texture that's in that paint. I wish I had a pink that was that textured pink paint, but I did not have any on hand. And I was just planning on using what I had on hand. Didn't want to have to go buy some paints. Plaid generously gave me this textured paint, so I want to make sure that I use it and tag it. I really do like it. I've also used it to prime trays when I do the resin ocean trays, and I'll use that for the nice base coat. Now, sometimes when you paint and you paint over, do a second coat when your first coat is still wet, you kind of push your paint around, push it the wrong direction kind of thing, you can, and it just kind of, you know, makes it kind of blotchy looking, you know, and normally you don't want that. But this is could be 150-year-old home. So let's see. Yeah, 150-year-old home. So it could have some, you know, stucco that's peeling in different spots and things like that. So this part I don't really need to paint, but these inside pieces I do. So what I think I'm going to do with those, I'm going to take a little brush, and this textured paint can get kind of dry. And actually mine was very dry. Let me show you. Can you see how dry that is? It shouldn't be that dry, but you can just add a little water and get it back. So I'm just going to paint this light blue here. Now my whole thing's going to be light blue, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in and make some little, with the darker blue, and kind of try to make it look a little bit more like it's louvers instead of the same exact color. So I need to get first a coat on there, and then I can come back in with kind of little stylized lines going back and forth. I may need a second coat of that. So what I do with my wood when I'm cutting it for the, when I'm using it for the laser, is I try to paint it first, just a light coat, because I use a lot of MDF, and MDF will soak up paint. Soak up paint. I can't tell you how much paint it can soak up. So you'll tend to have to do multiple coats on just raw MDF. So if I do a coat of paint on it first, it tends to kind of put like a little skin on it, so the paint will adhere to that and not just soak into the surface. So that's what I like to do. So it doesn't look like, now I don't know if you can tell, but it looks very chalky from here, and I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. One thing I did notice is I want to put this pink inside of this little dormer right there. So what I'll do is I'll take some of this, I got a little brush here, little tiny brush. And so what I'm going to do is mix a little of this darker brown, darker blue. You can see here, I got a little darker blue here. Mix it a little bit in with this chalk paint or textured paint like that. And then I'm just going to come back. Whoops, I got a big glob right there. I'm going to come back and just kind of do like that. Just give me some little lines, just to kind of symbolize that they're louvers. I think that might be all I really need for that. I think that might be all I really need. I think that looks pretty cool. Now this would be this if I just took the same exact image, we could just do this on a canvas. But I thought, why just do it on canvas? Let's do it on some wood. How cool would that look? So, and I'm doing a craft show in the spring, and I think I might make a couple of these to sell at the craft show. And I could also do this as a workshop at the studio. So you can either do this at the studio, you could buy it already made, or you could just buy the wood already cut out and paint it at home. So I don't know if you can really see that, but so I just lightly gave it just those little lines just to stylize and make it look like it's louvers. I think that's going to look cute. So I'm going to put a little more of this paint in my little palette. And so if you've watched me before, you know I've said this 100 times, but I like to use a takeaway tray from, you know, a restaurant. Just one of these trays with the lid. I actually have the lid sitting underneath this. I don't know if you can see it right there. I'm using that to kind of raise it up a little bit so you can see it at a better angle so it's not just flat. But I use these takeaway trays and I put wax paper in it, and then I can close it up and seal it, and save my paint if it's going to take me a couple of days to paint something. Now your paint won't last forever in this, but it does extend the life of it so you don't have to worry about your paint drying out if you're just going to take, you know, 2 or 3 days painting something. I've actually had some in here a week and it kept, but I think that was just rare circumstances, so I'm not going to say it'll keep that long, but it may keep that long. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to turn this while I'm trying to paint this little detailed spot. I'm trying to paint the floor here. And I'm using a tiny, tiny brush. And you can get all wrapped up in the different types of brushes. And I usually use maybe 2, sometimes 3 different size brushes. Most of the time, I just use 2 different brushes, but I'm not that much of a brush connoisseur, even though I should be, but I'm not. Now, I kind of went over the line here, but that's okay. I'll touch it up a little later. Sometimes you can just wipe it with your finger, but I'll probably have to come in and touch it up. I may come in with a little bit of shadow there. I got these 2 lines here. These are supposed to be blue also, so let me try to paint those real quick. I really should have my reading glasses on. And we got the 2 steps done right there. Or stylized 2 steps. So you got this so far. So I don't need to worry about the rest of this because this sits on top like that. Not gonna be stinking cute. Okay, so let me set this aside. And now I'm going to paint these that blue color. Let me clean my round brush off. So this is a number, I think it's a number 7 brush. It's so old I can't even read it because look how ratty my poor brush is. Look at that brush. You know why? Because I'm a bad brush owner. I will leave my brush sitting in water way longer than I should be. Look how pretty that blue is. And this texture paint, what I like about it, especially for doing it on these windows, is that it kind of is it's gonna give that look of kind of old chipped peeling paint because it's thick and you'll see the texture in it. So that's my thinking about it. Like I said, I really wish I would have had the pink like that too. And when I cut this out, I scored the wood so you get the little trim work. And so that's going to be a little guide for me to come back with the small brush in that dark blue, just to kind of add a little bit of shadow to give it that even though it is 3-dimensional, just to give it a little bit more of a 3-dimensional look. Let that dry and move on to this one. So these scar lines are just going to be there to help me as a guide if I want to put some some shadows in here. May need to get some more paint out. So much fun. I know it sounds like I'm talking in a very soothing voice, but it's really, I just don't want to get too loud in the house because I don't want my dogs to hear me and start barking. And my head is right next to the camera, so I don't want to get real loud in the microphone. So how cute would this be to do this and put your family name somewhere on it? That would be really cute. And we could make a simplified one of these for like a door hanger. I've been kicking around that idea, you know, like a door hanger, and then somehow you could decorate the front of the house for different holidays and things like that. I thought that might be kind of neat. Okay, so I got them two painted. And we are how many minutes in? 21 minutes in. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. I'm painting this little wooden, I guess this is just a little dormer accent. And then what color would this be? I'm kind of thinking it'd be blue. I'm going to paint it blue anyway. If I need to change it, I will. I might not even use it. And the other two little pieces I have are these little, I keep calling them knoll posts, but they're not knoll posts, but they're post. I guess they're just posts. Knoll posts are technically inside the house at the foot of your stairs. And most of them, like if you had like the little ball on your post at your foot of your stairs, it meant your house was paid for. That's what they originally, like the thing was, is people would, once they paid their house off, I don't know if they put, for some reason I'm thinking they like stuck like the deed inside the knoll post and put the knoll inside the post and then put the knoll post on it to kind of seal it, but I could be making all that up. I don't really know. I don't know where that came from. But anyway. The pink is still drying. So another thing of blue I need to paint is on this piece. Oops, excuse me. Is on this piece. Now all this is white, but this is blue. So let me get that. I think I will need more paint for that. Let me open this back up again. So let's see. Let me see how I can get this. I want you to see, but I need to see also. That blue. That's way too watered down. And then this needs to be blue right here. And you know, you can also tape things off. So like right here, I could have taped this off. Actually, if we end up doing this at the studio, what I'll probably do is, this is actually a separate piece that I've already glued together. We may just keep them separate while we paint it and then glue it together at the end. I just wanted to have things mostly put together so I wasn't wasting time you watching glue dry. But I use wood glue. What I've got sitting right here is the Titebond glue. I have Gorilla Glue at the studio. It doesn't matter what kind. They all work great. And that's what holds all this together, is wood glue. Okay. How's that look? Stinking cute, right? Stinking cute. Okay, move this out the way. Bring this back. Gotta be careful what I'm doing. I forgot I have glued this together. And I'm gonna clean my brush off, and I'm gonna touch up this little front porch area a little bit better. Very cute, very cute, very cute. This is coming out way cuter than I thought it was going to come out. And I thought it was going to be pretty cute, but I'm thinking it's looking really, really cute. So again, like I said, this can be a class at the studio. You can also pick up a kit to paint this. Or you can paint it at the studio, whichever one you want. Kind of lost my line there. I may need to touch that up again. We'll see. Okay, let's take a look. We got that. I think that is stinking cute. So while this white is drying some more, I'm going to come back in with this little brush, and I'm going to add some of this blue, some of this dark blue. Mix some of that up. And let's see what I'm going to do. I'm just kind of winging it here. That looks kind of good, huh? With the little shadows I put. And I want it to be, I mean, I know these are cut out like straight, but I want it to be kind of whimsical. So that's why I'm not being a stickler for keeping perfectly in line, in the lines. It's a little bit darker than the other one. So lighten this up a little bit. There we go. I think I want to try to do a cutout like this of my mom's house. Or what was my mom's house. So see, I'm not really outlining this so much as I'm on one side. So like on the left-hand side, I just put a little of the dark blue, and I didn't do it there because I just want it to kind of have that vintage look about it. And like that's where the shadow would be. And I just wanted to make it kind of whimsical looking. So I'm going to do the same thing on these little fence post thingies. These are hard to handle because they don't stand up straight. And these are going to be right up next to the viewer, so I'm going to make them a little more dark and their colors pop a little bit more. So we'll see how those end up looking when we get to that point. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to dry. I say that. That's going to go there. This one's going to go right there. This one's going to go right there. That is looking so stinking cute. Okay, let me just get my hands clean. Make sure I don't have anything on there because the next piece is white. And this piece goes right about like that. That piece is supposed to fit right up in there. We go. Let's see, make it flat. Then maybe I can stick this in here. Okay. There you go. And this is going to go like this. How cute is that? And then this is going to go like that. I think this is so stinking adorable. Am I wrong? I think it's so cute. I'm kind of scared to glue anything down yet, but let's go ahead. Maybe I should make some of these louvers in here a little bit darker. Let me try that. Let's do that for a little bit. Now you could also come back in here with some markers if you wanted, but I'm just going to do this, or colored pencil, but I'm just going to mix up some of this dark blue with some of this lighter blue and just see if I can make it a little bit darker. Now it's the same darn color. Now one thing I like to do is I use my pinky as a little guide to hold my hand up. Oh yeah, I like this better. Oh yeah, I like that blue. I like this darker. I think it's really going to make it pop more. And it's perfectly okay that I've got multiple lines here. Okay, now let's see how it's going to look. Oh, I think that makes it pop a little bit more, don't you? I probably could even add in a little black if I wanted to, but I'm not going to deal with that now. So I'll pick this piece up, set it aside again, move this, and do a little bit more on these dormers also. I keep saying dormers. They're, what are they? Louvered. Louvered windows. And I guess one of them's a door. We don't want it perfect. We want it kind of stylized. Yeah, that looks cute. Doesn't that look cute? Don't you think that looks cute? And that's going to go right there. Now, inside of here, the pink is not that dry. So, I mean, it's not that thick. So I'm going to paint another coat on there. That little pink color. And we'll let that dry. But I'm okay with it having a little, like some brush strokes and stuff around. So I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing these dormers on. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a sponge and I am going to dab the glue on the back. Okay, sorry about that. I left my sponge in the other room. So I went and got some makeup sponges from Dollar Store, which I used to use all the time, and then they disappeared forever, and now they have them again, but they are way, I mean, they were cheap before, but now they're just, they're so cheap. It's disgusting. Raise the prices and then give us cheaper products. But you can buy these by the bag, and I'm just pouncing it. Makes it easier. You don't have to waste worry about your paintbrush, paint drying on your paintbrush. And these are, well, they're more than a dime a dozen. So they're 75 cents a dozen because there's 24 in a pack. You do not need a ton of wood glue either. I mean, look, you can barely see it's on there. You don't want it to where it's going to ooze out the side and get, be visible. It does tend to dry clear, but since this is more matte paint, we don't want it to show up. So you're just going to arrange it on here. Press it down. And the nice thing, it kind of, because it's actually a 3D object, it does cast its own shadows in there, so that does help with some of the detailing stuff that you normally would have to paint in. This actually does cast a little bit of a shadow and does make the item in the background a little bit darker. I mean, unless you're going to have a spotlight on it, which you probably won't have a spotlight on it. And then I'm going to place this one down and just move it right into the right place. You do have grooves on here that are in size, so you can see where it's supposed to go. Press it down. Move it into place. You can kind of see if you've got it in the right spot. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, even though that wood is still wet from the pink. We're not going to worry about it. I mean, in the real world, we probably wouldn't do this, but for today, we're going to do it. And it's stuck to my finger. Alrighty, so those are all glued on there. Remove those little pieces. And you can see. So you can also see where you need to adjust it. Now you're going to be making this, you're going to be painting this and putting this together, not at the odd angle I am, but that's what we got so far. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. It's so cute. It's so stinking cute. Okay. Now let's see about the last piece. I probably do want to paint like a little bit of this dark blue just to kind of add a little bit to it. So give me just a second to do that real quick. A little bit of this dark blue. Well, it's a little watery. That's okay. I can touch up. You can touch up anything. I will have to touch up my white. I do see that. I did make a mess with that. I made a big old bobo right there. That's okay. That's okay. I will clean it up. I think they call these houses also, the ones that are real elaborately painted, they also call these painted ladies. Now in San Francisco, they're called painted ladies. Those, you know, always think of, what was that show? My Sister Sam. That's telling you my age. That show, My Sister Sam, that was in San Francisco. I know they had a bunch of painted ladies in the front and they lived in one. And then I think of, what was the Full House? But they weren't really in, I mean, I guess they kind of look like a painted lady, but I did see something calling these painted ladies in New Orleans, which I'd never heard of them called that before, but hey, they are painted. Okay, so now I added a little of the dark blue just to bring out some accents. And so this piece now is going to sit, let's see how we get it to sit down. All right, like that. Does that sit in the right spot? Okay. So the reason I was fighting that is because I actually forgot I had risers on it. So this is how it's going to sit. So let's go ahead and put some glue on this and glue it into place. Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be so stinking adorable. I'm just pouncing glue on here. I'll pick up this whole piece. And you see, I'm not going to put glue on here. I'm just going to put glue on these raised areas. Now, this, like I said, I accidentally cut these into two pieces. But look, it's only held together by these two pieces right here. This piece is just a raised piece I put on here. This one and this one are the ones that are holding this piece to this piece. Just that little bit. I know it's crazy. And then I have this whole middle section is raised. So I'm going to put glue all the way down that. Like that. And then right here at the corner, let me get my finger in glue. Right here, that spot and this spot is the only place that needs glue. The rest of this is kind of floating. All right, so let's see if I can get this on here without making too much of a mess. I'm going to have to turn it so I can see it better. I've got my little piece a little twisted, but for the sake of the argument, I think it's pretty darn good. Let me move this piece so I can press it down to flatten it, to make it adhere. Press right there, press this, that. Kind of leery of pressing here because my paint's still a little wet. These should be pressed together. Is this pressed together? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is still very delicate right now. But I'm going to take this little knoll post, not knoll post, fence post thing. I want to do a wrought iron one, but I haven't done it yet. Putting a little glue on the tip top there because it's going to overlap a hair, and then right there. And then let's see if I can put that in. Putting that right there. I wonder if I should put that all the way to the edge. Like that. I mean, it's kind of a science well, it definitely is a science figuring it out. What needs to be in front of what and how high and all that kind of good stuff. Push that down, push that down. And then look. Now this one doesn't get it because it's not the stairs, but this is the stairs. Put a little more glue on that. Make it flat so I can press it good. Now, I really shouldn't be moving it around a bunch, but I'm going to show you. So this was 45 minutes. Isn't that stinking adorable? So let me scoot this back a little bit. Whoops. One-handedly trying to scoot this around in my messy craft room. See, it's three-dimensional. Oh, just knocked my no post off because it wasn't cured. It wasn't dry yet. I said no post again. It's not even a fence post. It's that those concrete posts that are in front of your stairs, whatever you call those. Anyway, how just adorable is this for a New Orleans shotgun house? See how thick it is? You can do any color scheme you want to. Lost my little post again. Let me get that glued on here and stop picking this up before I mess up my background on it. Prop it up right here. Move the camera back. Anyway, so that is the, move the camera up a little bit. So that is the New Orleans shotgun style wood cutouts. You can get the kit for $20, or you can take the workshop at the studio, which will probably run about $35. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. This is something completely new that I'm working on. I would not call this a door hanger because I think it's too delicate for that, but it can easily be something that you hang on the wall, or we mount to a piece of thicker wood so it could just stand up by itself. And so that's kind of what I'm leaning toward, is making it so it could stand up by itself just on a table or a mantle or something like that. But anyway, so that's it. Thank you for coming to Create at 8 on Wednesday. And I look forward to what I'm going to do next Wednesday. I don't know what it is yet, but maybe the 2-story one. I don't know. I have to test it out first. But let's see. First off, let me get a vote. This is the little decorated piece. So should I put that there, or should I leave it without that? So I could do it right there. I could do it that way, kind of like that, as a piece of decoration. I cut it to do that. But anyway, I don't know what to do with it yet. So let me know what you think. And I will see y'all again next week. Bye.